Let's take a look at the control panel on the ProSpangle machine. On the left-hand side at the top here, you have your display, which shows all of your menus and functions and all of the design information. On the left-hand side down at the bottom, we've got our Start button, which actually starts the job. We've got our Stop button. Now, many of the buttons on the ProSpangle machine are dual-purpose buttons. The Stop button happens to be one of them. The Stop button will stop it from running. It's also used if we ever wanted to back up a spangle. Each time we press the Stop button, it would back up one spangle. Not a function we use typically, but it does serve that purpose. On the right-hand side, up at the top here, we've got the Unit Change button. The Unit Change button is a dual function button. If we press it once, it will put us into where we can change the press unit that we're currently on. If we press it twice, that's how we actually assign which press unit within the order of the design we're going to use for that particular section. The Off S button is an offset function, and it is a dual function button. It offsets the table automatically, or as we're in the middle of doing something, we can use that button, and we can manually offset it temporarily and then hit the Start button and have it go back to where we left off. Very important are our Speed Up, Speed Down buttons, because these are also dual function, and this is how we actually navigate through all of our menus. The Trace button is a dual function button. It will actually allow us to trace to make sure the design is going to fit within the area of the table. It also is used to find our starting point if we press it twice. The Read button, if we press it once, it will allow us to bring a design into the machine, and if we press it twice, that's how we delete designs out of the machine. The rest of the buttons here are all single function. The Feed button allows us to change how far the spangle tape is fed between each punch. The Previous button allows us to back out of the different menu systems. The Set button is what allows us to get into each of the functions and to bring in a design. And the End button, if we are in the middle of running a design, we press the End button after we previous out, and that brings us back to our main menu, number 1. That's how we actually end the job. The arrow buttons are what we use to reposition the table so that we can load that's the 4 arrow buttons are what we use to reposition the table for our transfer sheets or to reposition it for centering purposes. We have 3 different menu systems in here. Right now we're on menu 1. Menu 1, when we press the Set button, is how we call up the various designs that we have in the memory of the machine. If we are on menu 1 and we use the Speed Up, Speed Down, that takes us to menu 2. And inside menu 2, you will find the Repeat function. Right now it's looking for us to set the X repeat, then the Y repeat, and then any additional space we want to put between the designs. Then we have menu 3, and there's several functions in menu 3. The feed sensor setting allows us to change the feed sensor to an off status, which then makes it so that if the spangle tape runs out, the machine would not sense that it has run out. That's not a setting that we would normally be changing. We could also change the speed limit on the machine. Again, another function we don't normally change. The mirror function, we can mirror a design. Again, a function that we typically don't use, but there might be an occasion to use that. Rotating, we can rotate either 90 degrees or not rotate at all. That is a function that would occasionally be used. The slow RPM setting sets our slow speed, again, a setting that comes pre-adjusted for us. And the free run. The free run mode is important. We do use that for oiling so that we can run the oil out of the press units so that we don't get oil on the transfer sheets. And that is the control panel.